Do you like art challenges or art journal challenges? I do, and I made these 2 books for part of Art Journal Advent 2022, which was hosted by Raspberry Blue Sky. I'll link the contact information in the description of this video. So this is the narrated version. I'll tell you about each of the daily art journal prompts and what I created on here. There's another short video that's just a flip through without describing the pages. My name is Kathleen Arla Johnson here at Creative Solace Studios. Thanks for describing, and thanks for subscribing, not describing, I'm describing. Thanks for subscribing. And actually, as I'm going through this first journal, these were 24 prompts in the original art challenge. Then I extended it for the rest of the month of December and made a second one with my own prompts. So as I'm going through this first one, leave a message in the comments about what kind of prompts you would add for your bonus book like I did. Prompt number 1 was enthusiasm. To start off the month of December, I wanted to show a burst of creative, festive energy. So I used a lot of Stickles glitter glue, and in my mind, I referenced the bough of a pine tree. On day 2, the prompt was called View Outside Your Window. I live in the Sonoran Desert, so I see a lot of desert plants, succulents, cactus, and fun desert landscapes. So I used some painted papers and did a little mini collage there. Day 3 almost got out of hand. The prompt was connection, and I was connecting, can you see all that? I was connecting papers and fibers. I was wrapping around the back of this page. I connected it all, thinking about joining together art supplies, community through this swap, just thinking about the symbolism of connection in general. Day 3, let's see, where is that prompt? This is day 4. Where is day 3? Oh, day 3 was connection. Day 4, what has 2022 taught you? I learned so much about myself and my wanting to share Creative Solace Studios with all of you via YouTube. This is the year I started up my YouTube channel, and I did kind of an honoring to that on this page. This is an accordion book, so it folds up, which is fun because you can either flip the pages like this, or you can stretch them out when you're looking at them. The prompt for day 5 was nature. I used some fun washi stickers on this page and did a collage. I like to do a lot of mini journaling in those mini 3-ring binders. You can check out some of my other videos about that are basically sticker collages and very relaxing to put together. So I used some botanical stickers and some other nature-oriented stickers for that page. Day 6, over the moon excited. That just tells me super excited, and I did a loose, watery watercolor painting of the moon there. Day 7, your value. This was so important to me to think about personal value and personal worth, valuing yourself, that I spilled these collage magazine images onto the next page. Number 8, the prompt was unique. Over here, I also used some Ecoline brush pens, which act like watercolor paint when you add some water on top of them. I've also got a video about describing ways to use those. Number 9, this turned out to be one of my favorite pages because I love the colors and the different types of paint on here. This is called Follow Your Impulse. I purposely put the words in a little pathway through the painting, through the thumbprints, like they were literally following the impulse. and following your creativity. This is some of my favorite color palettes, and I like to use golden fluid acrylic paints, but I've also got some other paints in there. For day 10, I added a pocket and some rubber stamping with the word 10 on there. Inside the pocket, there's some tags. This was drawn a smiley face with my non-dominant hand, my left hand, and the word yes. Yes was actually the prompt. Here's kind of a free-spirited person running along in the nature, and then some stickers. Take a deep breath, love yourself, you are important. Just little yes affirmations to remind me about myself, to remind you about yourself. This pocket envelope was made with a little contraption, a little die cut machine that cuts out this envelope and I fold it. Yes, there's another video about that if you're wondering how to do those fun pockets in different sizes. Day 11. Your greatest gift in 2022. I chose the word solace. That's part of my Creative Solace Studio's name, and to me it means peaceful calm, but also healing, nurturing, getting nourishment and rest for yourself, taking some self-care. Day 12, simplify. I wanted to make the artwork on this page reflect the word simplify. So I did a Stabilo all circle with the water-soluble pencil and focused on the word simplify, thinking about simplify life, simplifying artwork. Self-confidence, on the other hand, is bursting with mixed media supplies, and in the center is a photograph of a sunflower that I grew in my backyard. Self-confidence, I was thinking of growing yourself, standing tall like a tree, blooming and blossoming and growing as a person, as an individual. So that takes us up to the first half of this accordion book. Then we go over into the back where there's some little interactive dangling houses. Day 14, building castles in the air. For that art journal page, I wanted, oh, this one just fell off. I stuck it on with some washi tape, so I'll work on sticking that back on. I wanted to not only talk about building dreams or castles in the air, but I wanted to give the feeling of floating and flowing and moving easily and loose. And then on the back of each one of these, I wrote a specific intention or hope that I would like to be building. For example, this one has health. Over here is family. And this one that I'm going to fix, let's see what this one says. It says, good things, all the good things. Turning to page 15, this daily prompt was vulnerability. This paper back here is actually deli paper that I used in this collage, and this is a slick paper that I put underneath a lot of my artwork or between the pages so paint doesn't soak onto or run into another page. So this was actually part of my placemat per se for my artwork, and I used it as a collage piece. For me, vulnerability often comes in the form of speaking your truth, expressing myself verbally. Sometimes it's easier to express myself through artwork than actually through words where I feel more at risk or more vulnerable. So I worked through some kind of art therapy type of topics as I was thinking about vulnerability and what it means to me and how to make it show up in artwork. Unfiltered also has symbolism for me for day 16. I used, let's see, on here it was a lot of the Paul Rubens pearlescent watercolors that are metallic or shiny, a little glittery to them. And I did watercolor weaving, but I also wanted to show either where the weaving was unraveled or where it hadn't been crisscrossed with fibers or paint yet, to leave a space, a focal point in the middle with a very simple lettering of the word unfiltered. So I'm thinking of filtered as measuring your words or confining yourself in some kind of way. And this was just breaking apart those fibers of expectations and letting your unfiltered self come through. So this book gave me a lot to think about as far as symbolism and meaning and personal growth, such as fearless. This is one of the boldest pages with color and paint and collage. I like how I didn't completely glue it down, so it's raised up a little bit three-dimensional. Fearless, very bold and bursting, even doing a little splatter painting over that. Day 18 brought the prompt, what can you let go of? So this was a direct invitation to consider some internal workings of letting go and release what might no longer be serving you. I thought for me symbolism was a door. So this is a doorknob. There's a key with a heart in the center of the key dangling down in the air. I'm going to open that door to think of what I can let go of, what I can release, what I might not need in my life or my mind or my self-talk anymore. And for me, it was self-doubt. So with a Uniball Signo white pen, I wrote on there self-doubt in the dark part of the scrapbook paper, did a quick sketch of my hands that as I'm releasing self-doubt, I'm catching the key, that the key is something that I can use to unlock myself, my life, my personal growth, things like that. 19 was home or homeland. I'm from Minnesota, a long way away from the Sonoran Desert. Forest and lush trees was really my childhood and growing up memories. So I did a loose watercolor in there, a heavy body acrylic heart around it, and some personal journaling that I might not necessarily be able to read afterwards with pencil in the background, but it had some things that I was thinking about, some responses to the prompt, and the energy, the meaning of my words are there, even if they're not able to be read afterwards. On day 20, this was a fun one, magical moments. I was thinking, how do I depict magical moments through color? I wanted movement because those movements were interacting with me and were dynamic parts of my life. And then I wanted little focal points indicating specific moments in time. So each one of these circular, not exactly mandala-ish patterns symbolizes an instant, a moment of time, a touchstone, something that was magical, that was special, that was important in my life, and then my life energy and world energy flowing through the whole thing. I did finish that one off with some gold jelly roll metallic highlights. That's these nice gold dots that you see shimmering around the outside. Let's keep going. Oh, this one does burst over a bit onto page 21, which was balance. I wanted to do another simple one here, partially because there was a lot of energy on the page before it, but also because I wanted to focus on the simplicity of this image and the idea of walking a tightrope in life, in your day and your decisions, in challenges and joys, the balance between all the different things that happen in life. And here's an individual person, me or whoever, spreading out their hands, stretching their legs and a little mini gesture drawing to set up that delicate balance of walking through life. Page 22, or day 22, is freedom. This is a fun magazine collage with the letters of the word and some, I believe those are sandhill cranes, not whooping cranes, sandhill cranes on there, stretching their wings, big, beautiful, magnificent birds getting ready for takeoff, or knowing that within the power of their wings, they have ability to fly great distances, take care of themselves, and live their lives, expressing a little bit of radiating rays going out with the watercolor to give the feeling of moving towards freedom. On day 23, I used a lot of text. This is black gesso underneath there with some water. I like touching my brush to the water, and the black gesso turns out a little bit watercolory. The prompt is all that I am, and I wrote a poem. I wrote a poem on here about this, and it was really meaningful to me. I'll read it to you. Pine trees and walleye, prairie dogs and badlands, lizards and canyons, art and dance and memories and family, people and dogs, places and interactions and connections, my dad's garden and my mom's raviolis, Finland and Italy and the United States of America, the world, the universe, stars, intention, and perception, feeling and sensitivity, more than this paper, more than this body, more than this life I experience. I am Kathleen, I am me. So I had some time to do some personal reflection about me and kind of make a statement of myself on here. That'll be really meaningful to look back at, thinking of memories at places that I've lived, where I grew up, where I lived, where I am now, and just bringing it kind of into a global and universe perspective and the context of all that I am. To end this art journal challenge, the prompt's host ended it on December 24th with Word of the Year for 2023. So thinking up to the coming year, what word would you like to focus on? What word would you like to study or grow from or have in your mind for the year going forward? My word is food. I thought of this in many different ways. Food for the body, of course, but also food for thought. What do you put in your head? What do you put in your body? And what do I nourish myself with? What do I keep myself going with? What do I get my sustenance from? So I'm doing some personal work about that word for the year 2023. This was such a incredibly moving and special art journaling experience that I couldn't stop the junk journal right then. I added my bonus book. My bonus book is a mini accordion book for December 25th through 31st. I thought that it would be especially meaningful to come up with my own prompts as a takeoff from this art challenge that was already started for me and kind of launch me into the new year as well. So I did an explanation of what I was doing on this mixed media cover here. It says, this extension of Art Journal Advent 2022 features my own prompts to round out the year and bring me up to 2023 with artistic joy, meaning, intention, and symbolism. Thank you to at Raspberry Blue Sky for prompts number 1 through 24, and myself for prompts number 25 through 31. So let's take a look at this bonus accordion book art journal that goes with the first one. It's a companion. For 25, I added and friends. I thought Social importance and connection with other human beings are so important to us in this life, and sometimes, kind of as an introverted person, I might forget about that. And the other people in my life are so meaningful to me for support, connection, and just walking this path of life with other people and relating to each other, being there for each other. So I made a sketch of a face with a smile, being the people, smiling at the connections with other people, and little love, little hearts in everybody. For day 26, I was kind of getting to think about new year and renewal, and I thought the word new would be fitting as we're ending up one year and starting another. To me, the image that came to mind when I thought about new was a simple egg. So I did a watercolor egg on a separate paper, cut it out, glued it on here, used some sparkly paints, and again some of that Stickles glitter glue around it to create a focal point of that new egg and what was going to be opening out of it for the new year. Here's continuing from that thought, expand. So here's expansion into the new year. Directions, energy, ideas, pathways, things that I want to do in life, plans or goals, going in different directions and with fun color, what was going to happen in this new year. I was going to expand myself and my life. For 28, I do get a lot of wisdom from quotes from other people. So I used 28, the prompt was quote. And then here it is. When you recover or discover something that nourishes your soul and brings you joy, care enough about yourself to make room for it in your life. I just thought that was really important going into the new year, thinking about our self-care, what brings us joy, brings us fulfillment in life, and then not only realizing what it is, but taking time to do it and make room for it. Because as much as I want to believe I can do everything in life, I know there's a limited amount of the time in the year and my day in the hour, minutes in the hour, and you have to make choices about how you spend your time, what you do in your life. This quote was by Jean Shinoda Bolin, and I enclosed it on this strip of painted paper that was in a little homemade scratch art that I folded over onto the back of this page. Underneath this scratch art is oil pastel, black gesso on top, and then I did a little etching in it with the back end of a paintbrush, just a little scribble in there. This picture was actually from another short art tutorial that I did, and I saved it and added it onto this page. Day 29, generations. I think it's really important to honor where we come from, whether we know a lot about past generations and our genealogy or ancestry or not. It's still part of us and can contribute to who we are and our physical being, our mental being, and so forth. So I thought about empty chairs, standing for ancestors, people who came before me, sending their love. They had their families, they had their lives and their loves and their kids and their kids and their kids who made me. In my other journal, I mentioned, in my other page in this journal, I mentioned some images from I came from a really cultural family. My dad's family has Finnish ancestry and my mom's family has Italian ancestry. So I included that in here, the saunas from the Finnish ancestry, and pine trees, garden seeds, and gnocchis, the wonderful Italian pasta that my grandma, mom, and I make, and gnocchis of love and family before. I've done some genealogy research, and with Posca Pen on this magazine page, I added a lot of last names from my family heritage, and one person with overlapping hearts coming out, going backwards or forwards into connecting lineage of families. It's day 30 already, getting really close to the new year. I was thinking sunrise. Sunrise would be a good prompt here. And then I just wrote, it's a new day. This was actually the writing with white gesso and then outlined with black Posca, done some little doodling around there. And I think it's nice to have runny ink every once in a while to show flowing and movement and layers. So that's my page for It's a New Day as I was getting ready to end one year and start the next. For prompt 31, go forth. This to me means a little portal. Again, with those Ecoline brush markers, I made some ovals, activated them with water, let the water do its thing, left an opening in there, thinking of going forth into the new year, into my life, into every day of our life, really. Whether you do something like this at the end of the calendar year or not, every day can be a new day. So this is my Art Journal Advent 2022 book that is like a junk journal, mixed media journal, and bonus book. Raspberry Blue Sky is the reference you want to look for information about the challenge. My name is Kathleen Arola Johnson here at Creative Solace Studios. Let me know in the comments if you were to do a bonus book such as this and come up with your own prompts, your own art journal prompts or junk journal prompts to inspire you to create things daily as a daily art practice for an extension of this Art Journal Advent in December. What kind of prompts would you do? What could inspire you or others to create on some art journal pages? I'd love to hear your ideas. I think prompts are a nice way to get us started, get us into an art project, and get us moving. Thank you so much for subscribing and watching this video.